CQ RAYNET, CQ RAYNET. Calling any RAYNET members who would like to check in for the weekly digital activity net. This week being controlled by Graham, G780H, and also being live streamed on YouTube, which can be accessed by searching for G780H ham radio. The recording is available live or as a recording later on if you wish to. This is G4NRC, RAYNET UK, and we'll start the check-ins with any stations with figure 8 in their call. Figure 8 in their call. This is G4NRC.
G4NRC from Golf 8 Echo Yankee. Name is Mike. Good afternoon, Graham.
G8EY. Good afternoon, Mike. Any more G8s? Any more G8s that want to check in? Okay, nothing heard at this end, so we'll move down to 7s. Any station with figure 7 in their call, would they like to check in now?
Mike 7 Alpha Victor Oscar. Good afternoon, Graham.
M7 AVO. Good afternoon to you, Dave. Any more 7s? Any other stations with figure 7 in the call, would they like to check in? Okay, nothing heard. So let's move down to the 6s. Any stations with figure 6 in their call, would they like to check in now, please? Nothing heard at this end. Any station, let's move down to the 5s. Any stations with figure 5 in their call, would they like to check in? One last call. Any stations with figure 5 in their call, would they like to check in? Okay, nothing heard. Let's move down to the 4s. Any stations with figure 4 in their call, would they like to check in now, please?
G4 KIL, South Sussex, name's Philip. G4NRC, G4KUJ. Afternoon, Graham.
With figure 4 in their call, would like to check in.
Go 4, Kilo Uniform Juliet. Afternoon, Graham.
G4KUJ, yeah, good afternoon, Trevor. Any other stations with figure 4 in the call? Would they like to check in?
G4KIL, Golf 4 Kilo India Lima, Philip South Sussex.
Yeah, G4KIL, good afternoon, Philip. I did get you the first time. Thanks for that. Let's move down to the 3s. Any stations with figure 3 in their call would they like to check in?
Golf 3 Zulu Hotel X-Ray, Ian.
G3 ZHX, Ian. Good afternoon. Any other stations with figure 3 in their call would they like to check in? Okay, nothing heard. Let's move down to the 2s. That includes 2E1s and 2E0s. So any stations with the figure 2 in their call sign, would they like to check in now, please? Okay, nothing heard from the 2s. So we're down to the 1s. Any station with figure 1 in their call, would they like to check in now, please? Okay, nothing heard from the 1s. Let's move down to the 0s. And we'll start off with any M0s and the M0 stations. Would they like to check in now, please?
Mike 0, Juliet Victor Zulu, Derbyshire Dales, Raynet, and I am in and out.
Good afternoon, Les. M0 JBZ. Thanks for checking in, and note that you're in and out. Any other M0 stations would like to check in?
Zero Whiskey X-Ray Golf, really in Cornwall, in and out. Thank you, Graham. Mike 0 India Tango, Mike Andy, also in Cornwall, in and out. Thank you, and thank you very much for running the net today, Graham. And we also do copy your live stream as well on YouTube. That's very interesting. Thank you very much. Andy out.
M0 WXG and M0 ITM. Shirley and Andy, thank you very much for calling in into the net today, and all noted on the YouTube comments, Andy. It's much appreciated. So there we go. Okay. Also noted that you're in and out as well. Any other M0s waiting to call in?
Mike Sierra Oscar, Philip on Northern Ireland.
MI0, Mike Sierra Oscar, Philip. Good afternoon. Thanks for checking in today. Okay, one last call from the M0s. Nothing heard, so move on to the G0s. Any G0s would they like to call in now, please?
Golf Whiskey 0, Juliet Lima X-Ray. Good afternoon, Graham. Name is Andy, Raynet, Pembrokeshire. No traffic today, so in and out, please. Over.
GW0JLX, good afternoon, Andy. Thanks for calling into the net today. Any other G0 stations that wish to call in?
G0 Residence Mobile, East Suffolk, in and out.
Okay, I've got G0OZS, Ian. I think he's in and out. Thanks for calling in, Ian. And I'm not sure if there's another station there. Would they like to go again, please? Okay, nothing heard. So I'll throw it open for anybody that may have missed their turn, or any international stations that would like to call into the RAYNET Digital Voice Activity Net this week.
Good afternoon, Graham. G70JA from a very warm and incredibly humid North Peak District. Happy New Year to you. Can't hang around, unfortunately, so in and out. Thank you very much. I'll catch you further down the log. G70JA.
Yeah, yes, good afternoon, Paul. And all note I've seen your event pictures on Facebook. So nice for you to call in, and we'll just say we'll catch you further down. Okay, that I think brings us to the end of the check-ins, which is in total 12 check-ins to the net today. So now for any church notices. As I said, the net is being live streamed, and you can access the live stream by searching for G780 on YouTube, and it's also available as a recording on YouTube. So no Greg this week, which is commented to me should improve viewing figures. The viewing figures for last week's net were 23 views and 5 likes. So thanks to all those who hit that thumbs up button. It's much appreciated. So there we go. Right, I am reading off a script today, so apologies. Okay, so to follow up on news of the disasters in Morocco and Libya, there is no formal amateur radio activation to either emergency. The Moroccan Society is asking for HF emergency central activity frequencies to be kept clear, just in case any foreign teams present present have radio amateurs within them who need to call home countries. What else have we got? I remind you that the national registration is now closed until Tuesday the 26th of September, I'm guessing. Anything received during this time will be dealt with up on the registration reopening. It's been a very busy day today. 10 events around the country, ranging from 10k runs to 108-mile cycle rides. So has anyone been out today on duty? I know G70JA has, because I've seen his pictures on Facebook. So with that, we will head down the list, and that's round to Mike, G8EEY from G4NRC.
G4NRC from G8EY. Yeah, good afternoon, Graham. Here in, I can't say sunny Norfolk, because once it isn't. It's 19 centigrade, 1011 millibars. Still quite humid at 71% and 68% cloud cover. 10-mile-an-hour wind from 105 degrees. It's obviously been raining during the night because everywhere's still damp out there. And looking at the rain radar, looks like we're due another lot with possible thunderstorms. We do have a warning from Met Office about that in about an hour's time, but we shall see. Otherwise, my only duties today were to go out and get some food for dinner tonight. So that's about it from G8EEY.
G8EEY, G4NRC returning. Okay, Mike, many thanks for that. Yeah, we've not had any rain overnight here, but it has been quite cloudy. The sun is trying to break through, but not making it most of the time. And it is quite a humid day. And my Sunday has been doing Sunday chores, getting things ready for work in the coming week, ironing the shirts, etc. So there we go. Okay, with that, round to Dave, M7ABO from G4NRC.
G4NRC, Mike 7 Alpha Oscar. Good afternoon, Graham. Thank you for taking that today. Yeah, been a bit of an eventful week. Managed to get up and running on the HF net. The other night with Greg on 80 metres, which was a good start from here. It was now 9 to drawing in. Got a bit of a conversation between us, but unfortunately we were slightly off the usual band. We moved up a touch because of other users, and looking at the net reports, it's come on the emails. Nobody else found us, which is a shame. It'd be nice to try and get a net going between us all, up and down the country rather than across the field, really, as they say. But I hope next time we can always have another go on 40 or 80. But no, wasn't too bad this time. No problem. I shall catch you on the next round, Mike 7 Alpha Victor Oscar.
Avio, G4NRC returning. Yeah, okay, thanks for that, Dave. And yeah, interesting comments on the HF net. I need to get my my wire back up. My brother made some alterations in the garden and accidentally cut the wire, so I've got no HF capabilities at the moment. but I'll have to get it up because, as you say, winter is approaching and lots of dark nights to do nothing but play radio. So there we go. Okay, round to G4 KIL Philip from G4 NRC.
G4 NRC, G4 KIL. Hopefully you get me okay. Sorry if I didn't come back the first time. I'm on the handheld this time, TYT, was it MD380 handheld instead of the mobile, because I managed to program it to actually work this way, and if it works, I'm not sure I'm hearing everybody coming back. Latterly, I seemed to have heard everybody, but during the call-in, I had the impression I was missing some people. Possibly including missing your initial acknowledgement to my calling in, but that might have been my mistake. I am doing two things at once often. Right, what else do I want to talk about? Thanks, Greg, for sending out the email suggesting the Teams meeting to do with RAYNET-UK. That sounds great. Should be able to be involved with that. I did see the note that came back indicating some dissension about using Teams, preference to use Zoom. We came across that in our own group to some extent. Now, we locally seem to have overcome that by convincing people that if they use a browser, set up an incognito window, and then use the link, it will not affect anything on their machine, and it won't give them any pop-ups or anything like that once they exit it. Whether you'd like me to respond to that extent on the email trail, or whether you'd like to do it, obviously that's up to you, but perhaps you can clarify that one. I'm sorry for messing up the HFNet, well, from my point of view, messing it up on when it was Thursday night. I think you may have gathered from my report. I didn't find it on 80, did find it on something on 60, didn't think it was RAYNET, and then went down frequency and tried Olivia and didn't get anywhere. But I gather there was a voice net. There we go. Back to you, G4 NRC, G4 KIL.
G4KL, G4 NRC, returning. Yeah, okay, but no problem. And note the TYT 380 handheld. I did have one of those. It's probably knocking around the in a box somewhere. But I actually use here at the moment an Elitone 878 UV plus 2, which is linked to the computer at the moment. It's actually doing the streaming. And actually talking to you now, I'm using an Alinco DJ MD5, which is quite an oldish one, but it's served me quite well. I actually used to use it for work as well, so it's quite robust, and it's had a few knocks and bashes, but still does the job very well. With regards to the comments on Teams and Zoom, I'll pass those on to Greg, who I'll be speaking to later, and I'll let him decide what he wants to do. I'm not bothered either way. I use Teams every day at work. I've got no issues with using Teams. I actually prefer Teams, but there we go. Okay, thanks for that, Philip. And next on the list is Trevor, G4KUJ, from G4 NRC. My apologies, Trevor, because Greg didn't say you'd be logging today. So apologies for that, over.
Yeah, G4 NRC, G4 KUJ. Afternoon, Graham and everybody else. Okay, I see we've got 3 people on the logging sheet, and I was tripping over someone at the beginning. I don't know who that is, or is, but I did ping Greg earlier this morning and say I was around this afternoon, so apologies if I've trampled over anyone else. Hopefully I might better get onto the teleconference on Tuesday night, and just to show my preference in, I wouldn't go anywhere near Zoom. Anyway, back to you, Graham. Nothing further from G4KUJ.
G4KUJG, 4NRC. Yeah, okay, Trevor, no problem at all. It was Dave M7AVO was the other one on the crypto pad. But no problem. And thanks for doing the login this afternoon. And no doubt, well, I'll see you on Tuesday with the HF team meeting. Right, okay. Round to Ian, G3ZHX from G4NRC.
G4NRC in the group, G3ZHX, just see if I'm getting in, yes. Yes, it has rained here, probably about 3 o'clock, and I'm sure that's all very helpful to you. As regards Zoom and Teams, I've had Zoom meetings since COVID, obviously. I've had Zoom meetings with several organisations, and they've all just worked, even some quite long ones. But Teams, I've got a lot of problems with Teams. Our EPO uses it, and every time he's had a meeting, it's taken me at least 15 minutes, sometimes 30, to actually join the meeting, which, although I start early, still makes me arrive late. So I'm not pleased with Teams. Having said that, the last time I ran Zoom, the first thing it did was update. By the time it finished updating, the meeting had started. So I couldn't get the video to work. I think the relic of the previous version of Zoom had taken over the camera and it was fighting with that. We'll find out. I'll have more Zoom meetings coming up shortly. So my preference is very clearly for Zoom rather than Teams, but which I know is diametrically opposite yours. So that's it for me for the moment. I'll catch you on the final call. G3ZHX.
G3ZHX, G4NRC. Yeah, okay, no problem. I'll all noted on the comments there. It seems to be a bit like Marmite. I either love it or hate it. I have used Zoom in the past for various meetings, but as work-wise, it's all Teams and Microsoft Office. Well, it's what you get used to, I think, isn't it? But there we go. Right, okay. Last on the list in this round is Philip, MI0MSO. Good afternoon, Philip.
G4NRC, MI0MSO. Good afternoon, everyone. Yes, Teams versus Zoom versus WebEx even. Through work we use all three platforms, not so much Zoom. I use Zoom quite a bit for amateur radio get-togethers and whatnot. I don't have an issue with any of them. The only problem with Teams is if I'm using my work laptop for something outside work, it can be a wee bit problematic. But we get there soon, yes. If you don't use it too often, it is advisable to log on to it now and again because updates can be a pain in the backside, as they say. But as others have said, it is what you're used to, but Teams can be, well, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 different Teams accounts I have to log on to now and again. So you just have to be a wee bit careful on how you do it. Maybe open a different browser or something like that and use the browser instead of the Teams app. I find that helps. Okay, back to you from MI0MSO.
MI0MSO, G4NRC. Okay, Philip, many thanks, and thanks for coming on the net today. Yeah, WebEx, I forgot that one. I've not used that for a long time. So there we go. That's another one to throw into the mix. Right, okay. Just before we head round to the next round, our viewing figures today are a total of 13 views. There's 7 concurrent viewers at this time, and 4 likes. So thank you for that one. I can't monitor the chat today, unfortunately, because I am doing Greg's job and looking at the CryptoPad logbook, which Trevor's keeping for us today. So, actually, whether Dave M7AVO can have a look at the YouTube chat and let us know any comments on his next round, that would be great. With that, back round to Mike G80EY from G4NRC.
G4NRC from G8EY. Yes, well, I use both Teams and Zoom. I've got a paid account on Zoom as well, which gets around some of the funnies. Certainly during COVID, they actually gave much extended operational times to start with during the lockdown. I think they've gone back to somewhat shorter terms now. I must admit, I do prefer Teams to Zoom. I find Zoom starts to get a bit unstable if everybody's appearing with their cameras operational, because that doesn't half whack up the bandwidth. Obviously, on COM, we use Teams anyway, and the NRF and the EPO also use Teams. So I tend to get more practice with Teams. And as for the HF next meeting on Tuesday, I don't know whether I'll have the strength to do that on Teams, as I'll have already done a Voluntary and Faith Teams meeting and an NRF Teams meeting on that day. One in the morning, one in the afternoon. I'm not sure as I fancy another one in the evening. From G8EY, and thanks for running the net, Graham.
G8EY, G4NRC. Yeah, okay, Mike, no problem at all. And yeah, 3 meetings, 3 Teams or Zoom meetings in one day is a bit much. I think I'd probably draw the line at the evening one. But anyway, thanks for that, and thanks for coming on the net today. With that round to Dave, M7AVO from G4NRC.
G4NRC, Mike 7 off Victor Oscar. Yeah, thanks to Trevor for logging. It was me that started with him, and it was a bit strange seeing 2 sets of typing coming up on the screen, so I'll let Trevor carry on since he does it every week, and thanks for him for doing that. Looking at the YouTube screen, Graham, we've got 7 likes now by the looks of it. Colin 2E0 Simes has said he's listening but can't join the net this week. And also Italy 2 G4EKM has tried calling in a Brandmeister. Has had some packet loss and has obviously not been heard, Graham. So I don't know whether you want to give him a shout at the end and see if he's still about. Back to you, Mike 7, Alpha Victor Oscar.
M7AVO, G4NRC. Okay, thanks for that, Dave. And all noted on the YouTube comments. And thanks to all those who do listen or watch on YouTube. And all noted about Italy 2 G4EKM, whose name escapes me at this present time. And I'll try and give him a call at the end and see if he's has any better luck. Right, with that, round to Philip, G4KIL from G4NRC.
G4RC from G4KIL. Thanks for sorry I didn't realise it wasn't Greg talking there. It was I think partly because I switched to a different radio. I think I was going to make some comment about how much better the sound was on this radio compared to the other one, but that might be making some comments suggesting that your voice is nicer than Greg's now, wouldn't it? So perhaps I better not make that comment. There we go. Thanks for all the various contributions from people to do with Zooms and Teams and. One of the key things from our point of view, at one point we had some folk who, if they were using Teams for work or using Microsoft Office for work, in initial stages were having problems with getting in a twist if they tried to use the RAYNET logon and then come through Teams that way. And that's really where we started using this sort of incognito window and use the link. I think one possible reason there might have been a delay, somebody was saying, getting on Teams, is that I don't think Teams is when you come in on the link, and therefore you come in as guest, you have to be let into the meeting. And I don't think Teams is as good as Zoom at highlighting that somebody's waiting in the foyer. So that might be a reason why you're left waiting. So it can happen on Zooms too. It happened to me on a Zoom meeting some while ago, a couple of years ago, where I ended up more or less missing the meeting because nobody realised I was sitting in the foyer. So it can happen either way around. Of course, with Zoom, you can switch it off, I think, and just say anybody can come in. I don't know if you can do that on Teams. On the positive side on Teams is if you are registered, if you are logged on as RAYNET and you come into it and you're, I think, specified as being part of the group that's taking part of the meeting, you go in straight away without having to be let in, which seems a little bit easier. So anyway, thanks very much for the comments. Since I'm not talking to Greg directly, I'll slightly rephrase. I will probably make a comment on the with regard to my thoughts about using incognito windows and so on. I will plan to do that. So if Greg doesn't see that at all, then I've forgotten. But otherwise, he may see it come up. So perhaps you can modify the statement to say that, because I think I'd like to encourage people to use Teams if they can, really, which is what we've done locally, really for other reasons, I guess. Okay, thanks for running the net, and I'll listen to a close down, but I'll say 7.3s now, and hopefully be up again next week. G4NRC, G4KIL.
G4NRC returning. Yeah, okay, Philip, no problem. And so thanks for coming on today, and thanks for the comments on Zooms and Teams. Yeah, I think you can't. Once you're registered with an organisation on Teams, you don't get put in the foyer first. You do just go straight into the meeting, or this is what I've found. Obviously, with using it for work, etc. So there we go. And like I say, I've said before, my preference is Teams. Right, okay, round to Trevor, G4KUJ from G4NRC.
G4NRC in the group, G4KUJ. Yep, fine, everybody, and all the comments. Sorry today for tripping over each other at the beginning, but it's all sorted now, and thanks for being there if I didn't make it. I must admit it was a late input to Greg to say I'd be around this afternoon. Anyway, nothing further, so I'll just hang around till the end. Thanks for running the net this afternoon, Graham. G4NRC, G4KUJ.
G4KUJ, G4NRC. Okay, Trevor, no problem, and nice to hear you on. Okay, round to Ian, G3ZHX from G4NRC.
G4NRC, G3ZHX. Another comment has just appeared on the dashboard from Drew M0MFS saying he can't get in via Pheonix. I don't know whether you want to add that to your list of people to call. Regarding Teams and Zoom, anybody remember Skype? I was an early adopter of Skype, never had any trouble with that one. I have heard about people being left in the waiting room on Teams, and I suspect that may have been part of my problem. Whether I was not clear, and I still am not, whether I was trying to connect with the RAYNET Teams or with the guest connection. So maybe if we ever have another EPO meeting, he's cancelled the last two. Maybe I will find out. I'm no longer an active member of that committee, so it doesn't matter if I'm late joining now. And with that, I'll say thank you for running the... Oh, yeah, one other thing. I blipped in earlier this morning because I found I got the wrong power setting on my handset, and I wanted to check that low power still worked. And at that time, I had 6% errors, but I noticed on my last round, it was 0%, which is as it should be. So perhaps Italy... I can't see it. Italy 2 G4EKM will have better luck next time round. And with that, getting back to where I was, I'll say thank you for running the net, Graham, and thank you for those attempting to log. From G3ZHX, and goodbye till next week.
G3ZHX, G4NRC returning. Okay, thank you, Ian. All noted. And I'll give the stations a call on at the end when we come to the end of the list, which we have one more, which is MI0 MSO, Philip over in Northern Ireland from G4NRC.
Good afternoon. Nothing more to add at this time.
Okay, thanks for that, Philip, and thanks to yourself and everyone for coming on and calling into the net this afternoon. Greg will no doubt be back in his normal spot next week. So with that, I'm just going to call in Italy 2 G4, I think it's EKM. I wonder if he's still listening. Okay, nothing heard from me. Any other stations that want to just call into the RAYNET UK Digital Voice Activity Net, whether they be national or international. If you want to try and give us a call in now.
Yeah, I'll give that another go, Graham. Are you managed to get me now? It's Italy 2 stroke G4 EKM.
Italy 2 stroke G4 EK. Yes, no problem. And if I get the name, if I can get the name right, is it Steve, ever?
Yeah, Roger, it's Steve. I'm not too sure what was happening there before. I tried going in through Brandmeister, which is my normal setup, and I changed it to the RAYNET DMR server. And I'm actually listening to myself on the YouTube channel, so it's actually coming through okay there now. So I'm not too sure whether there was a problem going between the bridges, etc. But nothing really to report. Been out today doing another parks on the air activation, and I got back at about 5 minutes before the net started. So that's why I thought I would give you a shout there. Teams, Zoom, Skype, use all three of them. I much prefer Zoom for multi-person ones, Skype for individuals, Teams when I've got to, because I am generally a I'm a Mac person as opposed to a Windows person anyway. So that's what I use for my development work. Okay, with that, thanks for running that, Graham. Catch you on LE2 stroke G weekend.
Actually, stroke G4 EKM. Okay, thanks, Steve, and thanks for the comments there. And so you were coming in nice, loud and clear at that time. So there we go. Hope the post activations were successful that you've done today. So there we go. Right, okay, so that sort of brings the net to a close, which I'm going to close down now anyway. So thank you all for coming on the net. And this is G4NRC now closing down and reverting to my normal call sign or my own call sign of G7NEH. And we'll look forward to speaking to you all next week.